What's going on, everybody? Brandon Schaefer here. Let's jump right into it. So how I would start a portrait. There's many things I would consider when starting a portrait, things that I look at. So I first look at the tilt of the head. So is the head pointing, have a neutral tilt? In this particular portrait, the head's tilted a little bit to one way. So I'd take note of that, kind of the center line of the face, and maybe a line for the eyes. And I know that the line of the eyes is parallel to the bottom of the nose and the mouth. What that means is the nose isn't going to be tilted differently than the mouth or the eyes. It's kind of bizarre. That doesn't really happen. So we know all those lines are going to be parallel. So I'm going to start out guesstimating here kind of the shape of the face using straight lines. And the reason that I do this, and from what I've learned, is that it helps you see angles much easier. I start out most of my drawings, or all of my drawings, with straight lines and very lightly. So this would be much lighter on a sketchbook. So I'm using straight lines, drawing very lightly. And I'm going very quickly here for this video, for the video's sake. But in my sketchbook, on my own time, I would take my time. And depending on my intent, whether it's going to be a nice finished drawing or just a sketch, that would kind of determine how quickly I would move and draw. But most of the time, I really take my time nowadays and try to just be as accurate as possible, because that's what really matters. Now when I'm blocking in here, I'm taking a look at where things are lining up. So the bottom of the hair over here kind of points to the bottom of the nose. And then also that angle down points to the bottom of this ear over here. So now I have the bottom of the nose, the bottom of this hair, and the bottom of the ear. Those are things to be aware of. You want to look at your face and see, okay, does anything line up with the bottom of the nose, or the bottom of the ears, or the top of the ears, or the corner of the eyes? Try to take note of where these things line up, and really measure the proportions as well. So I'm taking note of the width of the face compared to the height of the face. And I can do this by holding out my pencil, extending my arm all the way out, using my pencil and my thumb, measuring the width of the face, turning it and seeing how high it goes up. Usually it's to like the eyebrows or something, but depending on which way the face is turned and what portrait you're drawing, it could be much different. So using small measurements like that, and then staying aware of the triangle of the face, which is the corner of the eyes down to the corner of the lips. I mean, getting everything in proportion in that area is crucial to getting a correctly drawn portrait. So once I have the face kind of blocked in here, and the shape, and I feel like things are going pretty well, it's looking pretty correct, I'll start coming in, not with detail, but just getting some light lines here for the eyes and the other features of the face, because I want to get those proportions correct. So the corners of the eyes there, where do the corner of the eyes end relative compared to, the corners of the mouth? Where do the corners of the mouth end compared to the corners of the nose? And you can draw in some of the little small shadow shapes, but we're not really to that stage yet. So we're just you want to make sure that you have all this related. Mine looks a little bit off, but like I said, I'm drawing here very, very quickly. But this is the stage that you want to fix things, if at all possible. And this is why we start out lightly and as accurately as possible. Measure the proportions, focus on the triangle of the face. Really take my time with this. Like I said, if I wasn't on this video, I'd be taking my time. And then once I feel like I got all of this kind of going very well, have things blocked in. As you can see here, getting pretty close. I'm just lightly sketching this. Now I can start building up the values, and I would use like a 4H pencil or a 2H pencil. I would come in and lightly build up the values in the shadows. So any of the dark shadow areas, I would come in, and these are going to be very light on a sketchbook. Very, very light. And the reason to keep it light, like I said, is to keep it accurate. And you don't want to, if you come in very dark at this stage, it can be difficult to erase if you don't have something accurate. And just keeping it light in the beginning, you know, like I said, if I'm doing a finished drawing, this stage could be 3 to 4 hours of really getting the proportions correct, getting every measurement accurate. And that way, now I can kind of judge a little bit better the value structure, kind of the overall structure of everything, light and darks. I can see things more clearly. And now if I need to correct something, I can come in and erase it very easily at this stage. So that's the point of keeping things very light. And then once you know you're correct, or you think you're correct, you can come in with a little darker later on and really get the values darker. And that's kind of how you build up a portrait drawing, is very slowly, accurately as possible. Because if I started out this dark at the very beginning and something is wrong and I come in and I try to erase it, it may not come off all the way. As you can see there, it's not coming off the paper all the way. That's something I want to try to avoid at all costs when I'm drawing. So I come in darker later on as kind of one of the very last stages and really build up the value structure of the drawing. And that's where I get things, once that drawing is accurate, the structure, you know, these lines and things of the face, you know, the placement of everything, that's kind of the bones of the drawing, if you want to think of it that way. And then the value, all this value and, you know, the light and darkness of everything, that's kind of like the skin. That's the icing on the cake there. That's what's going to really make things pop and contrast and give it the correct, you know, give it that appearance of being realistic. But really, if you have these dark values and things in the wrong place, it's not going to look like the drawing that you want it to look like. It's not going to look like that face. So it's very important to get, you know, these areas drawn correctly. And I know my drawing here looks not very good, but this is very quick, very quick sketch. You know, I would take a lot more time on this if I had it. But like I said, this is just how I would start a portrait, so I wouldn't even get into that stage until much later. So this is kind of the beginning of a portrait, is starting out very lightly, slowly building up the values. Start accurately, measure your proportions, focus on the triangle of the face. That's really the crucial area. And then once you have this area correct, you can start measuring everything off of that. So the bottom of the nose, you can line that up to the bottom of the hair, bottom of the ears, you know, put a line up for the feather, lines up with the middle of the eye there. This eye lines up with the neck, all that stuff. You can start really lining everything up around the head and get everything accurate. Take your time on this, build up your values slowly. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And keep on painting and drawing. Don't get discouraged. Take care of yourself. Peace, my friends.